Well, Smiles from Black Film TV. Hello, how's it going?
Good, good. What will you put in your background there so I can comment on it? Will it be like the pyramids or what is it's
This is what happens when you're at a friend's house. You're like, "Oh, use my room." Okay, but we're here, fourth and final one. At what point did you know we were coming to a conclusion?
it was I let the characters tell me where they wanted to go. This was during the pandemic and kind of outlined out what the remainder of season two. We had a hiatus because of the pandemic in season two. What was the remainder of two? And then I just kept going. And as the pandemic kept going, I just went, all right, well, let me see. Where does this story want to go? And it laid out to four seasons. And I said, well, let's not push it farther than that. And we're super lucky that the audience has grown and been so vocal about the show, and that Apple has been such amazing partners. So part of me feels like I'm crazy that I'm walking away right now when there's so much more that we could do. But part of me is really happy. This was the exercise, was let's tell the story with a high integrity. And so hopefully we'll live on in the years to come, and people will look at the 40 episodes and say, wow, they maintain their voice through the whole thing.
The challenging thing throughout the four seasons in terms of defining these characters so that they're not one note and you don't know who you're rooting for. You don't know who's going crazy at any given moment.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not typically a guy that likes to tell stories with pure good guys and pure bad guys. There should be a mix of everything in there. That's what's interesting, is when the good person does something wrong and the bad person shows complexity and empathy. And so this story is fraught with that, where there are three good people that maybe did do things that weren't so great and caused a very tragic outcome. And how did they live with that part of themselves? And of course, this other person who is embracing darkness and enjoying the power that comes with that, at least the temporary power that comes with that.
What have you learned as a filmmaker, having done now a series that
Mm.
helps you along, whether you go on to another series or a film, knowing whether it's the latitude you were given by Apple or just the series in its run, having read what works or didn't work, that's going to help you down the road as far as what you want to do next?
There's a few answers to that. One would be a practical answer, which was, wow, we did have an incredible arena to tell this story in a responsible way. And I own this show. This is a show that I took a big risk on, and I used that ownership to create a world where the filmmakers, the writers, the actors, and especially the directors that I hired from the film world had that latitude to bring their voices to the table in service of a clean story. And I wanted to, always think about what that opportunity has brought all of us, that when you risk your money in the right way to create a process that allows for creativity, where you're trying new things and being daring and risking. So that's really a wonderful thing. I think I'll look back and think about it as one of the most challenging times of my life, and I learned a ton of about storytelling. You can iterate really fast with this format, and I can try. We reshot so much during this show, and I don't know if that's normal for shows, but we would constantly reshoot. We would just go, I don't think we got it. Let's try that. Ooh, have the character do this, and we would iterate because it was all in one location. We could do that.
Well, congratulations on four seasons of making things terrifying for the audience, keeping us intrigued to see what's going to happen per episode. Obviously, I'm looking forward to seeing what you do next. Was it be on a big screen or small one? Have yourself a
Thank you
great
so
day.
much. Pleasure to talk to you.
Well, Smiles from Black from TV. Hello, folks. How's it going?
Hey, how are you?
Hi.
The good thing about the show as I watched it is that you never know with each episode whose turn is it to go, like, what is going on with this person?
Yeah.
So when you signed on, going back to now, did you know how long, did you guys, were you given an idea as to how far your characters would go? Lauren?
Uh, well, just sort of the level of stakes in the first episode, which was where I saw to become part of this job, was you kind of knew that something was that it was going to be kind of an intense ride. Yeah, ultimately leading to eventually Dorothy, like, finally, hopefully, facing this grief, and this family facing this grief. You don't know if that's going to ever happen, but that's kind of what we're hoping for.
And Toby, I feel like you're the guy in the middle, always trying to find a rationale between both ladies here. Is there more to it than what I'm saying?
No, that's exactly right. Either I'm preventing one from doing one thing, or digging one out of the ground, or, doing something the whole time, just wanting to learn how to make the perfect souffle. It was good fun. It was a great fun role. And the growth, the progression ultimately comes to the point where, Sean just has to tell her the truth. There's nothing left for him to do.
And then there's you now. You've been topsy-turvy throughout the seasons. We don't know if we're rooting for you. We don't know if we're siding with you. Coming into the fourth season, based on the trailer of what, we don't want to spoil anything. What are we getting this season as we're ending it?
You can always count on Leanne to be weird through every episode. I mean, that's never going to change. Even when she's doing her best to behave like a normal person, there's always something slightly off kilter. But I think what we can expect to see in season 4 is just, I mean, it's our last season. We're going out with a bang, where everything we're doing and everything we're experiencing, we're dialing up to 100. And that is certainly the case with Leanne. It feels like she's reached boiling point, and the lid's off and the steam's coming out. And this is kind of the most intense we'll ever see her, just sort of vibrating and crescendoing to the big finish.
Now, each of you have worked on different projects, obviously, whether it be a film or a TV show, but having concluded this after 40 episodes before and working with different directors, what did you get out of doing this series skill set wise as actors that you can take on to your next project? Lauren?
This was a very different process from other projects I've worked on. Night has a very formal process, and encouraged all of the directors to work that way too. So there was a very firm structure. I mean, if you go in his office and look at the wall, you can see the whole episode that he's directing. Like every scene, every camera shot is chosen before you get there. And at first that was definitely something to adjust to. And I thought, well, how will we do this? But how will I do this? Because what that's very different. But really, it opened its own field for creativity, where you're like working within a structure and finding moments with your actors, like within that. And there were all these other structures too, like the house. We don't really leave the house, or when you do, it's a real choice. So there were all of these sort of scaffolding that we worked within. And I don't know. I just think that's really interesting, and yeah, I think that has changed me as an artist, and just in adapting to working that way. Yeah.
Well, either way, I guess, fans are looking forward to seeing what we're going to get at the end. It's been a thrilling 4 seasons. Congratulations to all 3 of you. And hopefully I'll talk to you guys down the road on different projects.
Thank you.
Thank you. Nice to talk to you again.